यूं भी हमें आजादी की दुनिया हुई हैरान, है कायद आज़म तेरा एहसान एहसान।
Request मेरे बड़े भाई जाहिद भाई to come on stage and perform the tilawat kalam Pagh. Zahid bhai.
A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. This is ayah 256 following Ayatul Kursi, Surah Baqarah. La ikraha fid din qad tabayyana al-rushd min al-ghayy faman yakfur bit-taghuti yawmin billahi faqad istasmaka bil-urwatil wuthqa lan infisama laha wallahu samiun alim. Let there be no compulsion in religion, for the truth stands out clearly from falsehood. So whoever renounces false gods and believes in Allah has certainly grasped the firmest unfalling hand hold, and Allah is all-hearing, all-knowing. Sadaqallahu.
Jazakallah. Thank you so much, Zahid bhai. Khawateen Hazrat, my name is Siraj Narsi. I'm a board member of Pakistan Association of Greater Houston and chairman of Education Committee. I welcome you all on behalf of PAGH on this occasion of our beloved leader, our founding father, Hazrat Qائد اعظم محمدعلی Jinnah's birthday. We wanted to organize this event last year when we got elected as board members of PAGH, but it was too soon after our oath taking to organize this event, and aur bhi kafi sare masail the, but it's never too late. To my knowledge, this is probably the first time ever that PAGH has organized a session to pay tribute to our great leader. So I welcome you all in Jinnah Hall, the facility that has been named after our founding father. It so happens that Jinnah Sahab was born on a day that's a public holiday. So being able to pull a crowd on a public holiday like this, a global public holiday, it's really amazing to see all of you, and we are really, really grateful that you've taken out time today from your family commitments on a global holiday to come out and pay tribute to our founding father, and that truly indicates your love and your respect for Jinnah Sahab. We appreciate that. On behalf of PAGH, I would also like to convey to our Pakistani Christian brothers and sisters here in Houston and around the world and the global Christian community our felicitations on the occasion of Christmas. It's great that two great personalities of the world share a birthday. We have three wonderful speakers today. We'll hear three different perspectives, three different aspects of Jinnah's life. I would like to invite our speakers to come on stage. First and foremost, Dr. Asif Qadir. Dr. Hasnain Walji. And Janab Ambassador Sada Kamar Sahab. Thank you so much. I would like to recognize the presence of some key important Hamare Consul General Sahab. Welcome to Jinnah Hall, sir, on Jinnah Sahib's birthday. He's our chief guest today, and I'd like to invite him also to the podium, to the stage. I'd like to recognize the presence of Janab Tanveer Ahmed Saab. He's a member of the board of the Qائد اعظم Foundation, and recently he has donated a significant amount to National University of Science and Technology, and he's involved in other philanthropic work in Pakistan that's really impacting the quality of life and the quality of education of our people. So we'll thank him and we appreciate his presence here. Also present amongst us are Dr. Shabnam Lutfali, the former president of Ismaili Council. Thank you so much for coming today. Also present amongst us are Mian Nazir Saab, the former president of PAGH. Thank you, sir. And I'd like to take a minute to recognize the hard work of and contribution of all the former board members of Pakistan Association right from its inception. You know, we often always talk about the presidents of PAGH and kind of forget about the board members, but the president and the PAGH would be nothing without the contribution of all the board members that we often forget. So I'd like to remember all the board members from inception until today. Thank you for your hard work. I'd also like to recognize the presence and support of Mr. Fahim Akhund. He is the president of Karachi University Alumni Association here in Houston. He is also the chancellor of Akhund University of Science and Technology, which is a new university in the making. And he has also generously supported this particular event today, so we thank him and appreciate his work hard. Also present amongst us is our Deputy Consul General, Ashar Shahzad Saab. He's a fellow Canadian with me, junior though, but always as Deputy Consul General, always willing to help. हमारी community का कोई भी issue हो, कोई भी मसला हो, Ashar Saab is always available to help resolve those issues very efficiently. Not only Ashar Saab, पूरा consulate का अमला जो है वो, कल मैं किसी के साथ बैठा हुआ था और ऐसे लोग हैं जो PAGH की community में आमतौर पे involved नहीं है actively, but they were all praising. They had different experiences with Pakistan consulate over the years, and they were all saying, यार हमारा कभी कोई काम रुकता नहीं है, हमारा कभी कोई काम अटकता नहीं है. So we truly appreciate that. So coming back to Jinnah Saab, Stanley Walport, who was a historian who wrote a wonderful book on Qائد اعظم محمدعلی Jinnah, he said in his book, and I quote, "Few individuals significantly altered the course of history. Few still modify the map of the world. Hardly anyone can be credited with creating a nation state. محمدعلی Jinnah did all three." Jinnah is one of the most untouched and unexplored, yet one of the great leaders of the world, which is so true. And therefore, we have to do our part to promote our great leader to the rest of the world, which is why we've gotten together over here. I'd like to now call upon our first speaker today, Dr. Hasnain Walji. Other than being my neighbor, Dr. Hasnain Walji, he is a researcher and an author focusing on the nexus of technology and human behavior, with significant contribution in integrative healthcare and persuasive technology. His prolific writings in nutrition and natural medicine includes 26 books. He also leads as the executive director of the United Global Initiative, an NGO focusing on women empowerment, and is founding director of Oasis Center for Intellectual Development in Houston. Aside from that, Dr. Walji's organization has recently donated $1 million to Institute of Business Administration Karachi, IBA, which is my alma mater. And with the help of that donation, the IBA will build a technology center. So we are very proud that we have amongst us today two very generous donors who are contributing to the well-being and the education of our homeland. So, Dr. Hassan Walji, thank you.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان اللعين الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. Honorable Consul General, our guest of honor today, Ambassador Sadaq Kambar Sahib, or our leader and elder, Qadir Sahib, President of PAGH, Salman Bhai, and all the other guests present here, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Ladies and gentlemen, to speak about Jinnah Sahib, for someone like me, is indeed an honor and a humbling experience in the presence of the luminaries who are present here, on the stage, as well as many of those that I have encountered in my 5 years of being here in Houston, is so very knowledgeable about Pakistan. But to speak about Jinnah Sahib in any kind of holistic or a total manner is simply impossible. What I'm reminded of is the tale of 7 blind men trying to visualize in their minds an elephant. We've all heard that story. And each presented one aspect of the elephant, be it its trunk, be it its legs, whatever, and believing that that was the whole truth. And that is where we are at. As Siraj Bhai said, that to have or to explore this unexplored personality that you have amongst us is a Herculean task. But for me, growing up as a young person in East Africa, at the foothills of the highest mountain in Africa, Mount Kilimanjaro, my connection as a young lad in Africa was 2 things. My connection with Pakistan meant that in my grandfather's little shop that there was a picture, the portrait of Qائد اعظم. This was during the colonial days. It was not the picture of the queen that hung on his wall. It was a picture of the Qائد that was hanging on his wall. That is what I looked at. I never knew who this man was as a young boy. But now I'll give my age away when I say that the other person or the other entity that I had a connection with, Pakistan, growing up in Africa, was the Pakistani cricket team, and in particular, Hanif Muhammad, the captain. Those were the days, and that is how I connected with Pakistan. And of course, whenever Pakistan played, whether it was against India or Africa, and we would hear these commentaries on shortwave radios, there were no TVs at that time, we would always cheer, me and my friends, the Pakistani cricket team, and that was the affinity. So many a times I'm asked, what's it with you when I am with my friends from Pakistan? And I say, look, I am a Gujarati by origin, by ancestry. I'm an African by birth. I'm an American by nationality, and I am a Pakistani by affinity. That is the connection that I have. So, enough about myself. But today I find myself drawn towards this great leader in the sense, and I would not have the words of wisdom that our esteemed panel has, but in my own small way, as a student of leadership development, I would like to share just a few words of this colossus of South Asian history and a phenomenal human being that humanity has produced. Siraj Bhai stole my thunder when he quoted Wolpert, so I will not do it again, as to how few individuals indeed altered the course of history, and this was the one man who did all the three things. That is who we are here to honor today. It's amazing. Going back to the story of the elephants and the blind men, to the citizens of Pakistan, he is revered as the great leader, a beacon of sovereignty, liberty, and freedom. In India, of course, the opinions are manifold. Some regard him as a divisive character, responsible for dividing the subcontinent. Others recognize his endeavors to also forge unity. This is how multidimensional he was as an individual. In fact, I'd like to quote that amongst the many narratives that have emerged about the Qa'id, Sarojini Naidu, a phenomenal leader at that time, sees a man, and this is really underscores everything that I will talk about today, that at a press conference in 1945, she remarked that I may not agree with him about Jinnah, but if there is one who cannot be bought by title, by honor, or by position, it is Mr. Muhammad'ali Jinnah. This is the mark of a man when somebody on the other side recognizes your integrity. This is the height of the recognition of integrity. Gokhale, Gopal Krishna Das Gokhale, again said something similar. He said, and I quote, that Jinnah has true stuff in him and freedom from all sectarian prejudices, which will make him the best ambassador for Hindu-Muslim unity. This is the multifacetedness of the man that we remember today. And to the British, I have many things to say, but all I will say is the British thought he was a wog. I grew up part of my life in the UK as a student, and I also had the privilege of being called a wog at that time. But a wog to the British was a wily Oriental gentleman. He certainly flummoxed the British every time they tried to do something. Jinnah Sahib had a solution that totally was unexpected for the British. But even in Pakistan, I was reading somewhere, and there's this old joke that in Islamabad, many government offices you could tell the orientation of the civil servant by the portrait that would hang on the wall. If this is the traditional portrait of Jinnah Sahib that hangs in that office, it signals a leaning towards conservatism, perhaps, and traditionalism. In those days, today it's changed. In another office, one might find a portrait of Jinnah Sahib in a Western suit, a Savile Row suit, that he was so fond of. And that would actually signify the orientation of that particular person. You can see that the man who had such integrity, and integrity is what? Integrity is being what you are in public or in private. You do not have three different faces. That is the integrity that Jinnah Sahib had. But people perceived him and viewed him differently from their perspective. Reminds me of a little sentence, and I don't know the full share, I apologize. I am not a student of Urdu poetry, although I love it. But says, Dhool chehre pe thi aur aina saaf kar raha tha. Point is that we all perceived him, and I am one of those blind men who was trying to look at this huge personality, and was his character. It was layered, it was complex, and it was interpreted variously as secular, liberal, conservative, but this was the mark of the man that he was able to touch. He was able to communicate, and he was able to forge ahead with a vision which was razor-focused, and that is what we learn from Jinnah Sahib. Just for a moment, please indulge me. Please indulge me for a few moments to trace the ancestral path that converges into this personage that we know as Muhammad'ali Jinnah. Our exploration, very briefly, takes us back almost a millennial, 1,000 years ago, at a place near Khyber Pass. Now, where am I going with this? In a minute, I will explain. That near Khyber Pass, to the fortress which was called Lohargarh, where our common ancestor, when I say our common ancestor, the ancestry that Jinnah Sahib had, the ancestry that I have, the ancestry that some of us in this particular hall have, where our common ancestors were Hindu Lohanas known for being great warriors. Long story short, defeat in battle and tides of time saw them migrate, evolving from warriors to landowners to business people, known as the Tuckers, journeying through Sindh, Kutch, and finally settled in modern-day Gujarat. So they actually came down south. It was here, amidst this journey, that they encountered a transformative figure called Pir Sadruddin, who guided them towards a very syncretic path of an admixture of Hinduism and Islam called Satpanth. This is the lineage, and this is what marked the birth of the Khoja community from which Jinnah Sahib hails from, a community that stands today for its pluralistic values and being able to serve humanity, as it were, through the various leadership, including that of His Highness Aga Khan and many others. Well, fast forward, the annals of history, and there we meet Premji Bhai Meghji Thakur, grandfather of Muhammad'ali Jinnah, hailing from that Hindu Lohana caste, a merchant class in the Gujarati society. These Thakurs were originally from a place called Paneli, a district in the Rajkot, those of you who are familiar with the Indian geography. Born of that man was Punjalal Thakur, who embraced a new identity, evolving from Satpanth into the Nizari Ismaili faith. And that transformation was just not in faith, but also the Punjalal Thakur now becomes Jinnah or Jinnah Bhai, as we call it. And because he was very slim, and Jinnah in Gujarati actually means very slim, and he called himself, from Punjalal, he becomes Punja. And this is where the lineage comes from. Forgive me for this geography and this history, but it's very important. And those of you who are very interested, I've created a 2-hour documentary film on the journey of faith of the Khoja community, as it were, to get deeper into it. But this change encapsulated the journey of a family navigating through cross-currents, cultural cross-currents, religious identities, cultural identities, and it evolved. And as we ponder on this evolution, we must appreciate the diverse array of beliefs that shaped this warrior community into a business community that it was. And therefore, I've always wondered, if Jinnah Sahib's plurality, as it were, could this be one factor? This is a hypothesis, it's not a theory, but it's a hypothesis, to say when he said, and sometimes these words were kind of dumbed down or played down because it made certain people uncomfortable, but history cannot be restated. History must be recorded as it is. And when we talk about, when Jinnah Sahib said that you are free to go to your temples, which is a famous quote, you are free to go to your mosques or any other places of worship in this the state of Pakistan. You may belong to any religion, caste, or creed. That has nothing to do with the business of state. This is the idea of that syncreticity and the pluralistic ideas that would have been so very insightful, and it remains a lesson not just for Pakistan today, but it remains a lesson in this very polarized community that we live in here today and elsewhere in the world, where those forces are now taking over in terms of the ideologies, to remember these words of Jinnah Sahib. This, my friends, is a lesson that we learn. I'll just end on this note. I don't want to belabor because we await to hear the words of wisdom from our esteemed speakers. But the integrity, the courage of the man is something that just fascinates me as a student of leadership development. I'll be very brief. When he comes back, by the way, another myth that needs to be cleared about Jinnah Sahib is that he was not sent to England to learn law. In fact, he was sent to be an intern at a partner's company in London. His father had a partner in the UK and in Pakistan. And he was sent to actually be an intern to learn business. And obviously, instead of business, Jinnah Sahib turned to law. That's another history. But the myth that he went to England to study law needs to be exploded to say he went to England to study business to begin with. So, I'll just end on this note, just a couple of things to show you the integrity and the courage of the man. He was a lawyer, a struggling lawyer when he began, became very successful. So successful, in fact, that one of the law firms offered him 1,500 rupees a month as salary. And he declined. He said, you know what, one day I will earn that in a day. And he proved it. He proved it. I think the Khoja genes, the business genes coming through. And he earned it. But his courage in the court of law, he was asked once, because he had a very dignified way of speaking. And when the judge said, because the judge either was distracted or could not hear, whatever, poor judge, he said, Mr. Jinnah, please raise your voice. And instead of obliging, he said, Your Honor, I am a lawyer, not an actor. In another occasion, and then he goes on to say, Your Honor, if you move that pile of books in front of you, then you'll be able to hear me. This is Jinnah, pointing out a mistake and then asking him, giving him a solution to be able to do this. This is the so characteristic of the man. So these are some of the values that one does. I do not have a lot of time. Suffice it to say that once again, a judge, while he was listening to Jinnah Sahib, he said, rubbish. And instantly, with a sharpness that left the entire courtroom absolutely, as they say, without a sound, in total silence, Jinnah says, very nonchalantly, as a lawyer, said, Your Honor, nothing but rubbish has passed your mouth all this morning. So these are the nuances of what he did. Let me end with just one quote, that this is something that we can learn from. All that said, and there's so much more, he said, and I quote, and I'll end with this because this has been a leadership lesson for me. He said, and I quote, that with faith, discipline, selfless devotion to duty, there is nothing worthwhile that you cannot achieve. He is our role model. He proved it. And we pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that the leadership, all of us, are able to benefit from this wisdom and this role model that we have in the persona of Qائد اعظم محمدعلی Jinnah Sahib. Thank you very much. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Thank you so much, Dr. Walji. It was such an interesting presentation. An applause, please. Thank you. Now, I'm not sure if too many people realize that the founding fathers of India and Pakistan, they both came from Gujarati background, and they both were born probably an hour or 2 hours apart from each other in small villages, pretty much 5 or 6 apart from each other. So it's amazing that both founding fathers came from similar background and achieved tremendous things in their lives. Our next speaker is known to all of us, Dr. Asif Qadir. He's a multi-dimensional personality. He's a cardiologist, he's a surgeon, he's a poet, he's a writer. He is a community activist and volunteer. He's a pillar of our community. He is also the chairman of Qائد اعظم Foundation, which is doing some remarkable work to promote the legacy of Jinnah. मैं जितना डॉक्टर साहब के साथ काम करता हूँ, मेरी उनके लिए एप्रिसिएशन और मेरा उनसे सीखना वो बढ़ता जाता है. There is no end to how much one can learn from his wisdom, his intellect, and I think मुझे कभी कभी ऐसा लगता है कि हमने डॉक्टर साहब की पर्सनालिटी का पूरा फ़ायदा नहीं उठाया इस कम्युनिटी में. We still have a lot to learn from him and a lot to get from him. So I'd like to welcome here Dr. Asif Qadir.
Honorable Consul General Aftab Chowdhury Sahib, thank you for your honoring on Qائد اعظم birthday today. Commissioner Sada Kambar Sahib and our eloquent speaker, I think he should have spoken more. I was enjoying very much. Our President of PAGH, Razaki Sahib, who has shown his generosity for conducting this function, and inshallah next year, if you allow us, that Qائد اعظم Foundation can conduct this very day for Qائد اعظم in the Qائد اعظم library, which has been established in Galleria, that we can do that. We should also thank our CEO and the director of Qائد اعظم Foundation, Dr. Tanveer Ahmed Saab, who has been... I have worked with Siraj Narsi Saab, and with his help, I think we are honored that PAGH has taken the lead for Qائد اعظم, which they should have for years ago. Most of all, the friends of Qائد اعظم and the lover of Qائد اعظم who are present here in his honor today, you are the people who really is the body of appreciating how a great leader was, Qائد اعظم. I would say कि सदियों में या सदी में कोई बड़ी पर्सनैलिटी आती है, लेकिन एक सदियों में एक ऐसी पर्सनैलिटी आती है जिसकी तारीफ़ करने के लिए सिर्फ उसका नाम ही ले देना बहुत बड़ी बात है. Qائد اعظم Muhammadali Jinnah is one of that personality whose name is enough. اور ان کی مگنانیمیٹی اور بڑائی کی یہ دیکھیں کہ ان کا نام جناح تو تھا، لیکن ان کو قائد اعظم 1942 میں ہی بنا دیا گیا تھا، ابھی پاکستان بننے میں 5 سال تھے. تو آپ سوچیں ان کی کتنی عظمت تھی. مجھے نارسی صاحب نے یہ کہا ہے کہ میں قائد اعظم کی بیماری کے بارے میں بات کروں. پہلے تو میں آپ کو یہ سمجھانا چاہ رہا ہوں کہ میں ایک فزیشین ہوں. میں ایسا فزیشین نہیں ہوں جو کہ پی ایچ ڈی ہو یا کوئی ریسرچ اسکالر ڈاکٹر ہو. میں ایسا ڈاکٹر ہوں جو نسخے لکھ سکتا ہے، آپریشن کر سکتا ہے، جو یہاں امریکہ میں سے ایم ڈی کہتے ہیں. اور ڈاکٹروں نے حیثیت سے میں آپ کو میڈیکل ٹرمنالوجی میں تھوڑا سا جاؤں گا، یہ سمجھانے کے لیے کہ قائد اعظم کی بیماری کیا تھی، اس کی تشخیص کیسے ہوئی، اس کا علاج کیسے ہوا. اور یہ سب کچھ جو میں آپ کو بتاؤں گا آج، میں نے کہیں پڑھا نہیں ہے یا کسی کتاب میں نہیں پڑھا، یہ سنا نہیں ہے. یہ میری 1-to-1 کانورسیشن ہے ان لوگوں کے ساتھ جنہوں نے قائد اعظم کا علاج کیا. آپ جانتے ہیں کہ ہیوسٹن میں ڈاکٹر اسلم الہی وہ سرجری کے پروفیسر تھے کنگ ایڈورڈ میں، اور میں ان کا اسٹوڈنٹ رہا ہوں، وہ میرے ٹیچر رہے ہیں. ڈاکٹر اسلم الہی صاحب کی جو بیگم ہے وہ میری بڑی بہن ہے، اور ڈاکٹر اسلم الہی کے والد کرنل الہی بخش ہیں جو کہ قائد اعظم کے معالج تھے. جیسے کہ آپ جانتے ہیں بہت سے لوگ کہ فاطمہ جناح نے جولائی میں 20 جولائی کو 22 جولائی کو کرنل الہی بخش صاحب کو یہ دعوت دی کہ وہ آپ آئیں اور قائد اعظم کی تشخیص کریں کہ ان کو کیا پرابلم ہے. کرنل صاحب جب وہاں زیارت پہنچے تو قائد اعظم نے ان کو کہا کہ مجھے کوئی مسئلہ نہیں ہے، بس مجھے تھوڑی سی تکلیف ہے، پیٹ میں ہاضمے کی تکلیف ہے، یہ ٹھیک ہو جائے تو میں سب کچھ ٹھیک ہو جاؤں. اور کرنل صاحب نے جب وہ چیک اپ کیا تو ان کو یہ بات سمجھ میں آ گئی کہ قائد اعظم کو پیٹ کی تکلیف نہیں ہے، ان کو چیسٹ اور لنگس کا مسئلہ ہے. لہذا انہوں نے جو لوکل ڈاکٹر تھے کوئٹہ میں ان سے مشورے کرنے کے بعد یہ ان کو سمجھ آیا کہ ان کے پھیپھڑوں کا جو مسئلہ ہے اس کا فل ڈائگنوسس ہونا چاہیے. اور اس ڈائگنوسس کے لیے انہوں نے ڈاکٹر ایس عالم کو، جو کہ الہی کلینک میں اس وقت ریڈیولوجسٹ تھے، ان سے کہا کہ آپ کے پاس جو پورٹیبل ایکس رے مشین ہے وہ لے کے آپ کوئٹہ آ جائیں، زیارت پہنچیں. ساتھ ہی انہوں نے میو اسٹاف کے غلام محمد جو پیتھولوجسٹ تھے، جو کہ ڈائگنوسس کرتے ہیں ٹبرکلوسس کی یا دوسری بیماری کو، ان کو انہوں نے کہا کہ اپنی مائکروسکوپ اور وہ سامان سارا لے کے آئیں جس کے ساتھ قائد اعظم کی تشخیص کی جائے کہ ان کو کیا بیماری. ساتھ ہی انہوں نے ڈاکٹر ریاض علی شاہ جو تھے، جو کہ ٹی بی اسپیشلسٹ تھے، ان کو بھی دعوت دی. تو جب یہ لوگ سب پہنچے تو انہوں نے جب ایس عالم صاحب نے ان کا چیسٹ ایکس رے کیا تو چیسٹ ایکس رے میں ان میں ایک کیوٹیز نظر آئیں لنگز میں. لنگ کی جو کیوٹیز ہیں ان کے بارے میں یہ کہتے ہیں کہ وہ ٹبرکلوسس کے ساتھ اس کا ریلیشن شپ ہے، لیکن صرف چیسٹ ایکس رے ہی سے ٹی بی کا مکمل حتمی طور پہ ڈائگنوسس نہیں ہو سکتا. لہذا قائد اعظم کی سپوٹم لی گئی، جو کہ غلام محمد صاحب نے زی نیلسن سٹین، یہ میڈیکل ٹرمنالوجی ہے، ایک ایسا سٹین ہوتا ہے جس میں آپ ٹبرکلوسس کے جراثیم، جس کو کہ اے ایف بی کہتے ہیں، اس کو ڈائگنوز کرتے ہیں. اے ایف بی مین ایسڈ فاسٹ بیسیلائی. تھوڑی سی میڈیکل ٹرمنالوجی ہے، آپ بیئر کریں اس میں، اگر نہیں سمجھ آئے تو میں آپ کو بعد میں بتا دوں گا. تو وہ سپوٹم لے کے انہوں نے ان کی ایسڈ فاسٹ بیسلی کی انہوں نے اسٹین کیا. جب مائکروسکوپ میں دیکھا تو وہ پازیٹیو نکل آیا. آج کل ماڈرن سائنس میں اور بھی بلڈ کے ٹیسٹ ہو سکتے ہیں, لیکن اس زمانے میں اس وقت کے طور پر AFB ڈائگنوسٹک پروسیس تھا ٹبرکلوسی کو 100% ڈائگنوز کرنے کے لیے. اب یہ ڈائگنوسس جب ہو گیا تو ظاہر ہے اس کا علاج کرنے کے لیے ان دنوں میں اسٹریپٹومائسین ایجاد ہو گئی تھی, اور اس دنوں میں امبیسڈر اصفہانی صاحب تھے یہاں, ان کو ریکویسٹ کی کہ وہ اسٹریپٹومائسین کے ٹیکے بھیجیں. وہ ٹیکے آئے, وہ ٹیکے جو تھے وہ قائد اعظم کو لگائے, جس کی وجہ سے ان کی صحت بہتر ہو گئی. اور ان کی صحت اتنی بہتر ہو گئی کہ جب وہ کوئٹہ میں گئے تو انہوں نے کہا کہ اپنی بہن کو کہا کہ آج میں حلوہ پوڑی کھانا چاہتا ہوں, اینڈ ہی ڈیڈ ایٹ دیٹ. اس کے بعد کچھ دنوں بعد ان کی طبیعت اور خراب ہوئی, پھر لنگ کا نمونیا ہوا, اور پھر ان کو کوئٹہ سے کراچی لایا گیا, اور اس کے بعد ان کو 11 ستمبر کو ان کی وفات ہو گئی. تو یہ آپ کو بتانے کا سب سے زیادہ آج مقصد یہ ہے کہ میں نے 2 چیزیں سنی ہیں جس کے بارے میں آپ سے تھوڑی سی شیئر کرنا چاہتا ہوں. کہ ایک ڈاکومنٹری میں نے دیکھی تھی جو کہ اکبر صاحب کی صاحبزادی نے کی تھی. اس ڈاکومنٹ میں کوئی فارنر قائد اعظم کی بیماری کے بعد کرتے کرتے انہوں نے ٹی بی کا لفظ یوز کیا اور پھر کینسر کا لفظ یوز کیا, جو کہ میرے لیے بہت عجیب تھا کہ قائد اعظم کو کبھی بھی کینسر نہیں ہوا تھا. دوسرا, ایک دفعہ ایک بچے نے ایکس پرائم منسٹر سے پوچھا کہ قائد اعظم کو کیا مسئلہ تھا, تو انہوں نے بھی کینسر کا لفظ یوز کیا. میں آپ کو بتانا چاہتا ہوں کہ لے مین کے پوائنٹ آف ویو سے کہ امریکہ میں اگر کسی کو لنگ کینسر ہو جائے تو اس کی ایوریج عمر زندہ رہنے کی 7.1 7.3 منتھس ہوتی ہے. بہت ہوا تو 1 سال زندہ رہتا ہے, لیکن اگر کسی کو ٹی بی ہو 10-15 سال بھی وہ نکال سکتا ہے اگر اس کو مسئلہ ہو. تو اگر کسی کو کینسر ہو تو وہ تو سال سے زیادہ زندہ نہیں رہ سکتا. سو یہ آپ کے اوپر میں چھوڑتا ہوں کہ آپ سے سمجھیں کہ جنہوں نے بھی یہ کیا ان کو ہو سکتا ہے میڈیکل نالج نہ ہو. ٹی بی اور کینسر 2 مختلف چیزیں ہیں, اور اگر آپ لوگ میری بات سن رہے ہیں, کیونکہ میں جو آپ کو کہہ رہا ہوں مجھے ڈائریکٹلی جن لوگوں نے قائد اعظم کا علاج کیا ہے ان سے یہ انفارمیشن لی, لہٰذا ان میں کوئی شک کی بات نہیں ہے کہ قائد اعظم کو صرف ٹبرکلوزس تھی اور کچھ نہیں تھا. اب ایک اور قصہ ہے جو ایمبولینس کا قصہ ہے, اور ایمبولینس کے بارے میں بہت سی کنٹروورسیز ہیں. آپ جانتے ہوں گے جو کراچی میں ہیں ڈاکٹر نوید صاحب کو, ان کا نوید کلینک ہے. ڈاکٹر نوید کے والد ڈائریکٹر جنرل تھے جو کہ ایمبولینس کے انچارج تھے. ڈاکٹر نوید میرے بردر اللہ سلمان گیلانی صاحب کے کزن ہیں, اور وہ 20 سال ہر سال امریکہ آتے تھے اور ہر شام ان سے گفتگو ہوتی تھی. میں نے اسپیسیفکلی ایمبولینس کے بارے میں بھی ان سے ڈیٹیل میں بات کی ہے, اور وہ یہی کہتے تھے جب بھی میں بات کرتا ہوں یہ کنٹروورسی میں چلی جاتی ہے. اور میں نے کہا آپ اس کو لکھ کے تو پبلش کریں, لیکن انہوں نے ہمیشہ یہ کہا کہ میں جب بھی لکھوں گا اس کی کوئی نہ کوئی اور کنٹروورسی آ جائے گی. میں یہ چاہتا ہوں کہ آپ کو یہ میں بتا دوں کہ ڈاکٹر نوید نے مجھے کیا بتایا تھا اور ڈاکٹر نوید کو اپنے والد سے کیا انفارمیشن ملی تھی. سمپل سی بات ہے. اور انہوں نے یہ کہا کہ میسیج یہ آیا تھا کہ کوئی وی آئی پی از کمنگ, تو اس کے لیے ایمبولینس چاہیے. تو 2 ایمبولینسیں تھیں, جو اچھی ایمبولینس تھی وہ رکھی گئی تھی اس لیے کہ قائد اعظم نے آنا تھا. وی آئی پی جو تھے ان کو یہ نہیں پتا یہ کون وی آئی پی ہے. تو اتنی سی بات تھی, اس لیے وہ پہلی ایمبولینس جو کہ اتنی نئی نہیں تھی وہ بھیجی گئی تھی. اس سے زیادہ اگر میں آپ کو بتاؤں تو اور زیادہ کنٹروورسیز ہو جائیں گی, لیکن یہ سب باتیں جو اپنی جگہ ہیں. میں سوچتا تھا کہ آج قائد اعظم کا 147 برتھ ڈے ہے. پہلے تو آپ کو مبارک ہو سب کو. 147 نہیں 147 قائد اعظم کی بات کر رہا ہوں. ہاں ہاں جی, قائد اعظم کی بات کرتے ہیں اور تو کسی کی بات ہو نہیں سکتی. تو یہ آپ سے گزارشات کر رہا تھا کہ اس عظیم آدمی کی ہسٹری کا پورا اگر کسی کو معلوم ہو تو ہونا چاہیے آپ کو. میں نے قائد اعظم پہ کچھ شاعر لکھے ہیں, میں آپ کو شیئر کرنا چاہتا ہوں کہ قوم کا تو ہو گیا ناخدا قائد, قوم کا تو ہے ناخدا قائد, اب بھی تیرا ہے آسرا قائد. تیری باتیں ہیں رہبر اپنی, تیرا ہر قول رہنما قائد. تیرے اقوال اور تیرا کردار یاد رکھیں گے ہم سدا قائد. ایک احسان تیرا کیا کم ہے, تو نے ہم کو وطن دیا قائد. شکریہ.
بہت بہت شکریہ ڈاکٹر آصف قدیر صاحب. یقیناً قائد نے ہمیں وطن دیا, ہم نے وطن کو کیا دیا. My next speaker today, it's my honor and pleasure to introduce Honorable Ambassador Sada Kambar. میرا اور صدا صاحب کا ساتھ بہت پرانا ہے. جب میں ایک as a young man, I came from Pakistan to study in the United States at UT Austin. تب سے مجھے صدا صاحب کی ایک بڑے بھائی کے طور پر ان کی محبت آمیز, شفقت آمیز صحبت بھی حاصل رہی ہے اور ان کی فہم و فراست بھی حاصل رہی. یو ٹی آسٹن میں اس وقت 1988-89 میں بہت سارے پاکستانی انٹرنیشنل اسٹوڈنٹس پڑھا کرتے تھے, اور ظاہری بات ہے انٹرنیشنل اسٹوڈنٹس تھے تو کوئی جہاں فیملی کو ایسا سیٹ اپ نہیں تھا. تو صدا صاحب ہی ہماری فیملی تھی. جو لانگ ویکینڈ آیا کرتے تھے, چھٹیاں آیا کرتی تھیں, لوگ اپنے اپنے گھروں کو جاتے تھے, ہم صدا صاحب کے گھر جاتے تھے. پورا دن صدا صاحب اور ان کی وائف ہمیں انٹرٹین کرتے تھے اور ہمیں گھر کا ماحول دیتے تھے. But other than that, he is a towering personality. He is an entrepreneur, he's a philanthropist and a diplomat. He is an expert on US foreign policy and national security issues. In 2008, President Bush Jr. appointed him as US Special Envoy to the Organization of Islamic Conference. And in that capacity, he helped build bridges, build confidence and trust between the United States government and the Muslim countries. And just in that capacity alone, he has served remarkably both his adopted homeland and the larger Islamic Ummah. So it is my great pleasure to invite Honorable Sada Kambar for the next talk.
Assalamu alaikum. So first and foremost, of course, I want to thank the leadership of Pakistan Association of Greater Houston for inviting me to offer few perspectives on the founder of Pakistan, Janaab محمدعلی Jinnah Sahib, and his life and politics. When Siraj asked me, would you like to go first? I said, no, I would like to go last. Because I very well knew that the gentlemen that were part of my presenter group, both were, mashallah, very distinguished gentlemen. Both bring tremendous insight and knowledge when it comes to paying tributes and anecdotes to the Qa'id. So I honestly didn't want to repeat all of that because history on this fine, towering gentleman, Jinnah Sahab, is so vastly available to all of us. And with this technology and social media, we have access to everything. So I said to myself, after I finish what I'm making the remarks this morning for, all of the people, everyone, ladies and gentlemen, should all hear what we have said and then connect the dots. So this morning, I will dwell on what ifs. I will dwell on what ifs more than Mr. Jinnah's actions in leading with Muslims of then India, Muslim League, Congress Party led by Nehru, and negotiations with the British Raj. I'll begin with what if, and it's a very peculiar presentation, part of the presentation. What if, instead of India, East India Company landing in India, say over 200 plus years back, and the British Raj directly ruling India for 89 years, what would have happened? Where would be all of us, especially South Asia, if US's American Jeffersonian democratic system would have ruled over India for 89 years like British did? And of course then, that time President Grover Cleveland would have been the head of state of India. Now, US in past has been involved in colonial rule. And even today, US controls certain island nations on the Pacific Oceans. The US governing model of melting pot that we all enjoy, where federal government is strong and with equally strong civil society institutions to keep a check on their behavior, and where provinces in then India would have been fully autonomous, maintaining, encouraging, allowing citizens to enjoy their ethnicity, languages, and cultures of all Balochis, Sindhis, Gujaratis, Punjabis, and Pashtuns. If we would have enjoyed all of that, I think we would have avoided the fall of East Pakistan and other provincial discord that we present day deal in Pakistan. With British Raj ruling model of divide and rule is what I say Pakistan got from fire to the fry pan, where new colonial model was imposed on us by the dictatorial class of Jagirdars who became our new masters. In 1951, the composition of Sindh Assembly was 90% Jagirdars, and in Punjab, it had 80% of the ruling class. I remember President Zardari using the slogan, Pakistan Khape. And I listened to his Pakistan Khape statement. Khape means need in Sindhi. Pakistan Khape. And I said, is he talking about his family milkiyat? So his class of people can treat Sindhis or others how British did as their subjects, which is the colonial way of ruling. Ladies and gentlemen, today America was and remains as an experimental democracy. And if you see the history of this nation, then I promise you the Trump episode would be a small blimp in the overall historical progress of America. In fact, in past, Abraham Lincoln and President Jackson when they won the elections, what had happened. I don't want to dwell in it because it's going to take lots of time. Ladies and gentlemen, post World War I and II, the concept of nation state came up very strong in the West, especially in the Europe. Because while for over 200 years America enjoyed Jeffersonian democracy, Europe went through fascism, communism, authoritarian, and tyrant rulers. Post Second World War, British Raj was exhausted and broke and wanted to get out of India ASAP. And by then, of course, US had become the superpower of the world. India and Pakistan were hurriedly created 1 year before planned, and the rush transfer of power created commotion and many deaths and murders while crossing the border. Just like we recently observed a minute miniature version of unplanned, unruly, and untimely withdrawal of US troops from Afghanistan. Today, Modi government in India is debating to remove the portrait of Jinnah from Aligarh University. The question I ask is why Modi government is not removing Lord Mountbatten's portrait, as he actually was responsible for the genocide, rape, and murders of so many people by accelerating the partition by 1 year and creating a huge commotion and turmoil in the region. Another what if. So what if Jinnah would have not died 1 year after the formation of Pakistan? Would Pakistan be any different? What if Abraham Lincoln was not assassinated and South would have been better integrated with North? Then where would be today's America be any different? What if Punjab and Bengal would have come with Pakistan and not divided? By division of Punjab, actually, the Sikh paid heavy price by losing their most prestigious devotional places in Pakistan to Pakistan, and then India breaking Punjab in 3 provinces, totally marginalizing the Sikhs. Jinnah had offered the Sikh leaders to come with Pakistan and bring Punjab with Pakistan, and he even offered governorship to the Sikhs. Ladies and gentlemen, my submission is that if Punjab and Bengal would have come with Pakistan, then Pakistan would have heavy presence of non-Muslim population, and this would have allowed Pakistan to still be a Muslim country based on Islamic principles and not on Islamic laws. In 1947, we had 18% of non-Muslims, but we hounded them, most hounded them out, and today we only have 3% non-Muslim population in Pakistan. We Muslims in Pakistan wanted to grab their land and other assets. The reason I use a strong word, hounded, is because it was an act of haram, which in this country will be a criminal act. So with the coming Punjab and Bengal, would Pakistan be any different than what is today? With the advent of Pakistan and throughout its history, the non-democratic political leadership in Pakistan has used mazhabi munafiqat to change the behavior of its citizens into subjects. Branding Pakistan with Islam instead of governing Pakistan based on Islamic principles and not Islamic law, we have and will be in future facing many obstacles. Ladies and gentlemen, someday soon, inshallah, I would like to share with you all my theses and responses to what ifs. But today, let me end my remarks by saying that successful nations are built created and developed by people and for the people. US military budget is $900 billion a year. China has $290 billion a year. India has $80 billion, and Pakistan has meager $6.7 billion. Yet China can torment and bully US. Pakistan can torment India anytime. India, on the other end, with strong military budget, neither can bully nor torment China and Pakistan because of people. At core, ladies and gentlemen, is the people who build strong nations, not military or the Vaderas. At core, the essence of a good human is what a poet has said beautifully, and he has articulated, which goes like this, and this is for all of us human. मैंने किया न फर्क जब अपने और पराये में, मैंने न किया फर्क जब अपने और पराये में, सूरज भी आकर बैठ गया मेरे साहे में. This is what is expected of a class of ashraful makhlukat. Well, Allah says that when I created human, मैंने उनमें अपना रूप होगा है. And look where we are, and we ought to be. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ambassador Sada Kambar. What an insightful, thought-provoking presentation. Ladies and gentlemen, our applause to our speakers. Thank you. I think Jinnah Saab, looking down upon us from the heavens, would be really proud that one of the son of the soil of the nation of Pakistan that he created rose to be the ambassador of the country like America. So we must all really be proud of that. I would now like to invite our Honorable Consul General of Pakistan, Janab Chaudhry Muhammad Aftab Saab, to come and say a few words.
बड़ी मुश्किल है सादा कंबर साहब, डॉक्टर आसिफ कदीर साहब और वालजी साहब के साथ बात करना, इनके बाद बात करना. मैंने नारसी साहब से कहा कि फॉर्मेट क्या होगा. इन्होंने बताया कि एम्बेसडर साहब क्या बात करेंगे, डॉक्टर साहब क्या बात करेंगे. इन्होंने मुझे कुछ नहीं बताया कि मैंने किस चीज़ पे बात करनी है. सो बट स्टिल जो मुअज़्ज़ज़ पैनलिस्ट ने बातें की, उनमें से मैं थोड़ा सा अपना हिस्सा उसमें डालूँगा. बड़ी इल्म की बातें हुई, कुछ चीज़ें बिल्कुल वाकई मेरा ख़्याल में एटलीस्ट मेरे लिए तो बहुत ही नई चीज़ थी. जैसे उन्होंने बताया कि कायद आज़म बिज़नेस कंपनी में इंटर्न के तौर पे गए थे. दिस वाज न्यू समथिंग. एंड देन डॉक्टर साहब ने जो उनकी मेडिकल हिस्ट्री का बताया. एम्बेसडर साहब ने तो इंतहाई फ़िलोसॉफ़िकल और इंटेलेक्चुअल क्वेश्चंस रेज़ किए. इसमें कोई शक नहीं कि जेफरसोनियन और लॉक जो ब्रिटिश फ़िलासफ़र थे, फ़िलासफ़ी कोई भी हो, पीपल एट द हार्ट शुड मैटर, which Qaid Azam represented. It's very interesting that how different facets of his life he had, and how his personality evolved. When Mr. Walji said that his picture, his portrait in office of a bureaucrat represent कि किस तरह का bureaucrat है, कि अगर कंजर्वेटिव है या ब्रिटिश सूट में है. सो ही कायद or Qaid's persona caters for all the shades, whosoever gets strength from for whatever. लेकिन उनकी जो स्ट्रेंथ थी, मैं इन्हीं की इसी चीज़ पे ख़त्म करूँगा, लेकिन मैं इस पे बाद में एक सेंटेंस पे बात करके इसको ख़त्म करूँगा कि for me what he stood for, and for us, for Pakistani and for every person, what his constitutionalism and inclusive constitutionalism was, how he strived for constitutional and inclusivity in the subcontinent, starting from Minto Morley reforms in 1909, from where his first inkling of his mind came, that how he perceives the politics of that era, then how what were his views on Tehreek-e-Khilafat, quite different from Gandhiji. Then what were his 14 points? Even if you read 14 points, all were demanding representation and rights of the Muslims and all the communities as well. Then coming up to Cripps mission and cabinet mission, the way he negotiated the constitutional details of all these plans, it shows that he stood for constitution which is inclusive, gives rights to everyone, all the communities. Just hints of his personal integrity. If somebody has read the book of Qudratullah Shahab, Shahabnama, he was a very young bureaucrat in 1930s, maybe 1937, 38, when he was posted somewhere, some important position. So he gets, and remember, this is the time when Congress made the government, and Muslim League had also two, I think, or some representation in that government. And after 1935, I'm not very good at these dates and historical facts, but Qudratullah Shahab gets a letter, some secret letter from Congress leadership to the Congress members, that how they have to create difficult situation for Muslims or Muslim Leaguers. He thought that this is very important letter, तो ये कायद आज़म के नज़र में लाना चाहिए. He traveled और कायद से मीटिंग मांगी, मीटिंग मिल गई. He went, of course, he states his aura when he went to meet him. तो कायद को जाके लेटर दिया और उन्होंने पढ़ा, और पढ़ने के बाद उनसे कहा कि ये यकीनन हमारे लिए बहुत हेल्पफुल है, ये हमें मदद करेगा. थैंक यू वेरी मच. And Qudratullah Shahab started to leave the room. When he was leaving the room, the Qaid said, listen, young man, though it's very helpful for us, but as you said that you brought this secret letter, breaching the code of your job, don't do this again. This Qudratullah Shahab has narrated. He has given this incident in his book. So, coming back to Walji's, that how all us bureaucrats have all the shades we can get strength from all the persona of the Qaid. What I can say is that we should take the integrity, his discipline, not only for us, for bureaucrats, but everyone. That's what I would always aspire and I would request. in the end, I would say the only last one sentence of the verse, اے قائد اعظم تیرا احسان ہے احسان. Thank you very much, and congratulations on Qaid's birthday, and also Merry Christmas, because it's all inclusivity. We are here. Merry Christmas. Thank you.
تھینک یو کونسل جنرل صاحب. میں نے آپ کو اس لیے نہیں بتایا تھا کہ آپ کو کیا بولنا ہے کہ میں آپ جب سے ہیوسٹن آئے میں کئی مرتبہ آپ کو سن چکا ہوں. ایٹ اے مومنٹس نوٹس آپ زبردست باتیں کر جاتے ہیں, تو مجھے پتا تھا کہ آپ جو آپ کو ہم کچھ کہیں یا نہ کہیں آپ نے اچھا ہی بولنا ہے. تو تھینک یو ویری مچ. دس برنگس ٹو کنکلوژن آف آر ایونٹ ٹوڈے, لیکن فیو امپورٹنٹ تھنگس. یہاں کھڑے ہو کر مجھے نظر آ رہا ہے پورا ہال بھرا ہوا ہے اور بیٹھنے کی جگہ نہیں ہے. اتنا کراؤڈ جناح ہال میں صرف پچھلے 2 سالوں کی جو اوتھ ٹیکنگ سیریمنی ہوئی تھی جب ہوا تھا. ایون کتاب اور چائے جس میں ہم فیض, فراز اور جان اور جالب کی باتیں کر چکے ہیں, اس میں بھی اتنا کراؤڈ نہیں تھا. سو آئی ایم سو ہیپی. تھینک یو سو مچ. تھینک یو سو مچ. Thank you so much. This shows our love and our respect for our founding father. اللہ کرے یہ اسی طرح سے رہے اور ہم ان کے نقش قدم پہ چلیں اور اپنے ملک کے لیے کچھ کر پائیں. دوسری اہم بات, پاکستان ایسوسیشن آف گریٹر ہیوسٹن نے کئی سالوں سے یونیورسٹی آف ہیوسٹن میں محمدعلی جناح اسکالرشپ اسٹیبلش کی ہوئی ہے. آئی ڈونٹ نو آپ میں سے کچھ لوگوں کو یہ پتہ ہے یا نہیں, لیکن ہر سال پاکستان سے جو بچے آتے ہیں جو یہاں سے جن کا یونیورسٹی ہیوسٹن میں داخلہ ہوتا ہے, ان کو ایک سرٹن کرائٹیریا کے تحت وہ اسکالرشپ ملتی ہے $1,000 پر سیمسٹر, اور اس میں ان کو قائد اعظم کے اوپر ایک ایسے لکھنا ہوتا ہے. تو یہ کاوش جو ہے وہ قائد اعظم کے نام پر ہمارے شہر میں, ہمارے شہر کی یونیورسٹی میں PAGH نے بہت سالوں پہلے یہ قائم کر لی تھی. اور جس طرح سے ہماری کمیونٹی یہاں پہ گرو ہوئی ہے پچھلے 40-50 سالوں میں, آپ دیکھیں کہ پچھلے چند سالوں سے ماشاءاللہ اب ہماری کمیونٹی کے لوگ جو ہے وہ پبلک آفیسز کے لیے الیکشن کنٹیسٹ کرنے لگے ہیں. تھینکس کرنے.
اور پریزیڈنٹ سلمان رضاکی صاحب آپ بھی آئیے.
السلام علیکم خواتین و حضرات. سب سے پہلے آپ سب کی آمد کا بہت بہت شکریہ. ہمارے مہمان جو آئے ہیں اور انہوں نے اتنی اچھی انفارمیشن ہم کو دی ہے, ہم آپ سب کا بہت شکر گزار ہیں. اور جو PAGH نے یہ ریٹ ڈالی ہے انشاءاللہ قائد اعظم ڈے کی, تو اور آرگنائزیشن کے ساتھ مل کر اور اپنے طور پہ انشاءاللہ ہم وعدہ کرتے ہیں کہ اللہ نے چاہا تو ہم اس کو ہر سال باقاعدگی سے منائیں گے. جتنے ہمارے دوست احباب ہیں جو ہیں ان کا بہت بہت شکریہ, ہمارے بورڈ کا شکریہ, ہمارے میڈیا کا شکریہ. آپ دیکھیے کس تندہی سے سب لوگ لگے ہوئے ہیں, اور یہ سب والنٹیئر کام ہے. آپ کو معلوم ہے PAGH نان پروفٹ ہے, اور ہمارے جو والنٹیئر ہیں پیچھے انہوں نے بہت کام کیا ہے. سراج نارسی نے بڑی خوبصورتی سے نظامت کی ہے, باقی سب دوستوں نے, عامر نے, ہمارے پیچھے جو بورڈ کے ممبرز ہیں انہوں نے بہت محنت کی ہے. اللہ سب کو خوش رکھے. پاکستان زندہ باد. گاڈ بلیس امریکہ.